Hi, this is Michael, and this is my review of the brand new Sony-cybershot DSC-TX30. This is a feature-packed, small-size camera featuring 18.2 megapixels, 5x optical zoom, up to 10x clear image zoom. It's got a very nice 3.3-inch Oled display, and this will let you shoot 1080 full HD. It has intelligent sweep panorama. It's got steady shot. It's got so many features and modes that you'll have a lot of fun going through all the different types of shooting that you can do with this camera. So let me get it out of the box and I'll show you everything you get. So here are all the goodies. Here is the piece de resistance, the camera itself. It's a very attractive, this is the all black model. There is your OLED display, touchscreen, fingerprint magnet big time, and I will tell you that outside in bright light this thing is very difficult to see, which is really a problem because it's touchscreen and all your controls that you want to change are going to be accessed through this screen. So it is quite a challenge in bright sunlight. Inside, however, is another story. The OLED display is amazingly bright and sharp and clear, and very impressive display there. Would have been nice to have some sort of anti-glare screen, however, and perhaps there'll be an aftermarket protection that you can put on this to give it some anti-glare properties. There's a little included wrist strap, and we'll get back to the camera. I'll just show you what else is included. This is a 630 milliamp hour lithium-ion battery. And this is the charger that's included. It does have a fold-away plug, which makes it nice for travel. It's your standard USB charger, and if you already have another USB AC charger, you can use that instead of this. You can also charge the battery using your port on your laptop or computer. It uses a micro USB connection to the camera itself and then a standard USB plug. So the battery is charged in camera. There is no external battery charger for it. So you just insert the battery in the slot. There's a little locking mechanism here that holds the battery in. This is your micro USB port here for charging the battery. This is the memory card slot, and it uses micro memory sticks and also micro SD cards. And then this is your HDMI port. However, no HDMI, micro HDMI port, I should say, and no micro HDMI cable is provided, so you'll have to bring your own. Now there's a paltry amount of internal memory, something like 24 megabytes, so basically worthless amount of internal memory. It would be nice if they gave you a substantial amount of memory, since memory is so cheap these days. So I've got a Class 10 32 gigabyte SanDisk Ultra card that I've been using in this camera, and it just clicks in this way. It is very easy, however, to insert that in the wrong direction, and normally cards won't go in the wrong direction, but this will allow you to put it in the wrong way. If you do put it in the wrong way, you'll get a warning on the display itself telling you to check the card and reinsert it. On the bottom, you also do get a tripod mount, plastic thread, so you do want to be very careful if you're using this with a tripod. On the top of the camera, these are the stereo microphones. This is the on-off button. You don't need to use this. You can also turn the camera on simply by sliding this panel down. This is your shutter, and then there's a dedicated movie button here, and then this is your nub for the zoom. Don't really like the nub so much. It's just a little awkward to use for me. If you have really big hands, you're going to have a little bit of a problem keeping your fingers off the back of the screen, which is a problem because it's a touch screen. So you really don't want your fingers resting on this while you're trying to take a photo, or you could be inadvertently focusing on a different area or changing a mode or something. So you do kind of have to handle the camera by the edges. Another issue is that you do also have to be careful to keep your finger, which is, see my finger? The lens is so close to the edge of the camera that it would be very easy to get your finger in the shot. So you do have to use dainty fingers when you're holding the camera. Now, of course, you probably can't really tell through the camcorder, but The display is so sharp, and it's just really amazing. And I really don't have time in my video review, unfortunately, to go through all the features, but there are so many shooting modes here that you really will have a lot of fun. Normally I'm not a big fan of some of the shooting modes, but this camera does have some really fun modes. Some of the picture effects, for instance, are the toy camera, which is really a very cool effect. Also, one of my favorites is using the watercolor. You can get some really cool photos that way, and also the miniature effect is really a very cool effect. Then you do have a panorama shooting scene. You've got a background to focus, which gives you sort of that bokeh effect. And then there's various scene selections for landscape, night scene, high sensitivity, night portrait, that sort of thing. Some of these are very standard, and you've seen them before on other point-and-shoot cameras, but the integration and the way they work in this particular camera is really outstanding. This is one of the best macro cameras I have ever used. One of the reasons is it has a dedicated macro lighting system here. So this is the flash for normal pictures, normal flash photography. Not a very high-powered flash, and really you're limited to about 10 feet or so. But for macro photography, you've got this gentler light here which surrounds the image, the object that you're trying to photograph. You can literally get to within about a ½ inch away to your subject, and I do have a couple examples that I will post in the customer images gallery. Amazing macro capability for this camera. So touchscreen is fairly responsive. One of the things that I do like about it is when you're, it does take, I did want to just take one picture here. Notice how long it takes to process a photo. So it's a little slow writing, and I've got a Class 10 card, so it's not that I have a slow card by any means. Now, there's also a display on or off. If you hold this button, this will turn all the other icons on. But if you find that distracting because you just want to stay in one mode, you can turn all those off, so that makes a much less distracting display. I've also got the grid turned on right now, so that's really helpful for me when I'm composing shots, but you can turn that grid off if you'd like. And when you're playing back your photos, kind of a cool thing, you can either finger swipe through them, finger swipe, or you can go one by pushing the little arrows here. You can also make them full screen by pushing this button here. Lots and lots of great effects. This is going to be such a fun camera to use. Waterproof to 33 feet, amazing. And it's relatively robust as far as being durable camera to just sort of knock around with. Myself, I'm just going to really thoroughly enjoy the macro mode. I don't have time to go through every feature like I said, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'll answer it if I can. Can't tell you too much about battery life yet, but the documentation says you should be able to take 250 images, and it does record movies up to 29 minutes in length, and then it will start a new file, and the battery should be able to probably last about either 30 minutes or an hour, depending on how you are shooting the movies. So if you're going to be shooting a lot of movies, probably best to have a couple extra batteries with you. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll answer it if I can. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.